Welcome back. In our previous video, we saw how to create a pivot table by building your data from scratch and then build a pivot table and how to create a pivot table using a range and table. In our next topic, we are about to see how to build a customized color formatting. Normally, when I go down to the pivot table, you'll be having a pivot table design here and you will have umpteen number of formattings already available for us. If you want to use any of this formatting, you can definitely use them. Now I'm going to show you how I can build customized formatting for us. To do that, I'm going to just come and clear this data for us. So normally when you build pivot table, the pivot table will look like this. So what I'm about to do right now is I'm going to build another pivot table based on this data and let me see whether the formatting catches up for me or not, or how it's going to go. Let me add a new sheet at the bottom and then delete this pivot table. So now I'm going to create another pivot table right now. So let me add them in here. So that's the second pivot table I'm creating. And when I create a pivot table this time around, I'm going to use the latest keyboard shortcut that we're going to use on this. So that I'm going to use Alt L. That gives you the list here, and you can either create a brand new sheet based pivot table or you can just use it in the same sheet like we did in our previous session. So as usual, we get the same logic. So when I give a tick mark here, you can see the coloring that I've already mentioned here are coming up here. And then when I add this that I'm getting here. I'm going to take the date out of the equation and I'm going to release the color combination right now. So I'm going to clear the formatting. If I want a different formatting, I can create one for me. I already have a two customized pivot table design formatting in my sheet. You can see that it comes in the customized ribbon on top. These are the ones which I have created. I would like to create something a little better than this. To do that, I'm going to go back to the new pivot table style. And I click that, automatically ask you what do you want to do. I can say that I can say this as symbol or I'll say red. And when I go down to this point, I have all the table elements that is required here. So I'm going to use only two logics here. One is the total, another one is a header here. So that's what I did at the previous two customization also. So I'm going to just click the header format. And when I click the format here, then it'll ask you a question. What do you want to do? And I'm going to tell the system that I want maybe a red color here on top. And I would like to have a bold white font. Even okay. You see automatically my colors of red is coming on top. And I can choose anything that I want here. So if I want the first column or the first row strip, you can do whatever you want. I'm interested in adding the grand total row. That's what I have format here. We'll go back to fill again. I'm going to use the dark blue again. And I'm going to add maybe a single line on top, double line at the bottom. And then I want to color them in white so that, or maybe an ash. That allows you to make the data better. I'm going to make bold white. And when I give an OK, so now we got the third dimension. Just click table right now, so now I can see the data. If you want to make the row label to show the month, then we will always use a design tab here and we'll go to report layout and show in tabular form. By that way, we can show. You can create any one of this custom formatting, or you can use the default formatting, whatever you have here. They are one kind data. I try to use multiple colors here to differentiate that logics here. That's how we can build the formatting here. So I use the formatting here, and I can even choose a default formatting if I want. I'll show you that. Now I can update the formulas automatically. So if new data comes into play, the formula will get automatically updated here. So that's normally happens in a list if you are using a table feature. But if you are not using a table feature, then you have to refresh each and every dimension one by one. So you have a lot of keyboard shortcut that comes into play, and I can use each and every one of them very clearly. So when I go down to this point, and when I go to the pivot table list, you can see the pivot table refresh. This gives you a refresh on the pivot table. I can refresh all of them here. So there are multiple keyboard shortcuts that I can add for a refresh. That's what I've mentioned in our list here. So you can go for a pivot table refresh called Alt F5, or go for all pivots on the sheet. So if I have multiple pivot table in my sheet, then I can add all of them to this. Now let me build a multiple pivot table in the sheet that I built here. I'm going to name them as multi. I'm going to call this as a multiple pivot. Now I'm going to copy this and paste it in the next column. Don't do it below the data, because when the data expands, it may get affected. So always copy the data here and then paste it to the next, paste it to the next. So I'm going to have 3 different dimensions here. Now I want to improvise my data. I want to see the data not just by a month here. I want to see them by a quarter. I want to see them by 7 days week. So if I have a data that comes into play like that, how do I do that? So for this, I'm going to just add some more lines on top, and we'll call this as monthly sales. I'm going to call this as quarterly sales. So I'll be just placing the cursor in one of the month, you right click here, go to the group, and then add the quarters also. When I do that, automatically gives you a huge list, changes everywhere because I've taken the same data, copy it. But again, I'm going to just change all the data right now. So I'm going to just uncheck the month, the data out of the equation. So now you can see the data is coming differently from me. And this is the place where I want to see quarterly sales, and I want to change this to monthly sales again. You can see everything is changing because I copy pasted the data. And I'm going to even make this better. I'm going to just uncheck all these dimensions. And I'm going to group them right now. I'm going to give a right click here, and I'll go to my group. Then I'm going to uncheck all these dimensions. I'm going to keep the days alone. Then I'm going to make the number of days as a weekly. Again, I'm getting a multiple dimension here again as I ungroup it. So my grouping is going out for all of them. Now I can just take the data out of the equation. And here I can just again come back here, go to the group again, add a quarters here. Then in the report, I want the other component. So now I'm getting a quarterly report. I'm going to get a monthly sales here. And here I got all of them. But I'm interested in keeping the days. I'm going to group them by days. And then I'm going to make this 7. When I do that, automatically the sort of may change. Yes. Then tell it's just changing here because I'm ungrouping all the other components. So let me build them separately so that it's not going to create, because this is what we call it as catch. So when a single catch forms here, so whenever I make a change, the entire data changes here. So now I want to differentiate this by colors here so that I can see the colors, colorwise variant. Now I'd like to build another pivot table. So I'm going to just give a right click, then or I can just click the insert tab and add a pivot table in the sheet itself. I want to put them here, give it OK. Then I put the date, it's, I'm going to do all this dimension of the equation. Then I give a right click, go to the value, click, check these two. Make the 7 days here. Let me see. Come on, man. Okay. It was not allowing me to do that in a way in which I wish to do that, but unfortunately, it's okay. I'm okay with it. So I'll keep this as a daily sales here and go back to this here. I cannot do the weekly sales here because when I try to do that, I have to rearrange the entire dimension here. That changes the whole list. Then I can add a value field setting here. Make a number formatting. I would like to do that for all my data list. So now I got a daily sales, a monthly sales, and a quarterly sales. So we can build a pivot table and you can customize this also. So now if you want to filter this data, so now I can give a right click here And you can see that there is a line called expand and collapse. If I have multiple data elements, then I can expand and collapse for the entire field or short. For example, now I want quarterly and as well as monthly sales to come. Now the data are expanding here. When I give a right click here, I can collapse this data. And I'm going to select the whole list here and click and collapse. So when I say collapse, it's going to collapse only the one cursor where my cursor point was there. Whereas when I say right click and collapse the entire field, all of them will be collapsed. Same way I can expand it also here. Or I can only collapse whatever I want to collapse. Collapse only 1 and 3 here. And this can be done even with the normal plus button, minus button here. And when I do that, when I try to add a quarterly and monthly sales here, you can see that there is a subtotal comes up here. See the subtotal coming at the bottom of the list here. And I can just go back to the list here. I see that subtotal. I want to see subtotal at the top. And I want to remove the grand total out of the equation. Grand total is gone for me. And I can add grand totals for all my data. See that I don't want to show a subtotal here. I can show a subtotal on top of the data. And I can show the subtotal at the bottom. So this is how we work with pivot table here, and I can create a copy of it. And again, I cannot do a lot of things when I cannot take the rhythm out of the data. Be careful when you're trying to copy paste it and try to create different build data list. And now I can even do a filter. Let us add 2 more dimension or 3 more dimension to our list. How I can change the functionality. So now you can see in my list, I have created a pivot table here, which allows me to create a calculation here. If I want more than one calculation, I can do that. So now I got the sum of sales here. I would like to get 2 more dimension here. Here, when I build a pivot table, it is not like our social media WhatsApp, where we can give a double click here, and that allows you to say read something. So here I can only get one tick in here. If I want the same field to be repeated more than once, I have to go back to the old style of using the pivot table, drag and drop. So when I do drag and drop here, you can see the data are coming again, and it's also giving you sum again every time. In pivot table, I can do 11 different functionality, which I can do much better. But again, when I use a formula, I have 400 plus formulas list. Again, I'm a lot going in a pivot table right now, so I wish to keep them in the same way. So now I want to convert this into some other calculation. To do that, give a right click here, and I can go to the dimension here called value field settings again. And here I can see summarize the data. I have 11 different ways to show the summarization here. I can do a sum, count, average, max, min, product, count numbers, standard deviation, sample and population, variance sample. You will get one more dimension additionally if I wanted to get a distinct counting. When we go for the future learning, I'll tell you how to create a distinct count. Now I'm going to just show different kinds of formatting. Now I remove it, and I would like to keep them in a month-wise manner here. So instead of doing this, I'm going to just make one more dimension here. I'm going to add a month for data. Remove the data out of the equation, and I can see the number of sales that I made here. For the whole year, I made 25 sales, and on average, I made a list here. Now I want to know average sales here, so I'm going to give a right click here. Again, go back to the value field setting, and I can change this to an average. This I can achieve it in one more dimension also. I can summarize the valuation by. I don't want to go for value field settings every time, but I can see this list again. Now we can see that I have a facility of showing a distinct count here, but unfortunately I can add the data to the distinct data model yet. It shows you what are the minimum functions that you can use. But I use more option, you will anyway go to the value field settings here, and you can see all the other dimensions. So we will see different functions can be changed here. I can either change this single field into multiple point, or I can build something like this. I'll show you I have around 11 different formulas, and when I come to the formula bar, that's going to be my data list. So the value field settings can do not just the number formatting, it also can give you the different variety of functions that we can build. This is how we will create a different formatting here, and then I can show you how to put the data here. And I try to do the daily, weekly based on the same data by copy pasting it. But work if I put in a brand new sheet, probably it will work very effectively. It should not affect my other copy paste data here. Okay, I did it in the same sheet, so that's why it's affecting me. If it's not so, it won't affect me that way. This is how we build our pivot table, and these are the different functionalities that we can achieve in pivot table. And I can see what is the value field setting can be for us. So in the next video, we'll be learning how to work with a date and how the functions are defaulted to get data components or and we will be creating or maybe revising whatever we have learned how to build a pivot table. Then I'm going to show you how I can work with subtotal functionality. And I even started with the collapse function here. So I showed you the collapse and the span criteria on the row label here. And we can do further more calculations one by one. So I'm going to build all the other components. So let's see from the 19th point to the 30th point. Build everything in the next video. Once we finish that, then we'll go for a better option of how to play around with multiple data from a data 2 option. And I'll show you how I am going to group the timing here, and I'm going to group the days here. I'm going to work with data very effectively. So with this, I'll sign out with the correct video. Stay updated. Happy learning. See you soon. Thank you so much.